Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Armando, and I'm really excited that you're here. Well, please just let me know if you can hear me okay and everything is running fine. This is my first YouTube live, so I'm really excited. And yeah, just give me some feedback. Is everything running good?
I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for joining this. And this is George. I just want to introduce you to George. He's a really good integrator. He's also part from of Sub 2. And I invited him because a few weeks ago I met him and I spoke a little bit about this topic, like scrapers and all of this, and he actually like took action and he downloaded this app and then he began doing and building some databases and all of that. And yeah, I was really impressed that he actually took action. So please, like, we're going to share a lot of nuggets and just go and take action. I'm sure you will get a lot of value. And well, just enjoy the conversation. You ready, George?
Yeah, ready. And yeah, so thanks for teeing it up, Armando. Again, my name is George. For those who don't know me, as Armando mentioned, I'm an integrator and technical back end type of person myself, and so really honored to be on Armando's stream, let alone the first one that he's got. Super blessed to be a part of his YouTube journey and sharing the wealth of knowledge that he's got. But yeah, so we're gonna be talking about scrapers today and some of the tips and tricks that we've learned along the way. So definitely excited to be here and super excited to share what we know.
Awesome. So yeah, let's jump right on it. So what is a scraper? Like let's just be on the same like page of what is a scraper, what can it do, what can we do with a scraper, and then when should we use it? Do you want to just say like a few words about it, George?
Yeah, so sure. So in a nutshell, I mean, it's basically a way to grab data from a website, a web page. I mean, in the simplest terms, it's just scraping the text or the numbers or the information that you're specifically looking for in targeted areas of a web page and just scraping it and compiling it all on an organized format for you to use. However, it's in my words.
Yeah, definitely. And you can also set up triggers, right? So you can like build a scraper for a website and then just mark some triggers to run it every 2 hours or every morning or whatever. So you get fresh data like every single day as the website updates the data. So it's really powerful. It really depends on the use case. And there are many ways to build a scraper. You have like the easy, medium, hard ways. But it all depends on the control that you need for that specific use case. And we're going to go deeper into that topic a little bit later. But yeah, in a nutshell, is basically getting data from a website and then organizing in a very specific way that really eases your workload. A lot of people use VAs to like get data from a website, copy paste it, but that gives you a lot of like margin of error. But with a scraper, you can just automate all of that process. So you build it once, and then it will just keep running really well. However, there is a really important thing that scrapers are really hard to maintain. You have to invest like, so let's say you are getting data from any website. If they change anything in their website that you are trying to get, you will have to go back to the scraper and then update that like workflow, because you are like a lot of times like hard coding or like choose like this specific sentence to get this data. So if they modify that, it will be a big problem. So they're really hard to maintain. Therefore, if the website you're trying to get data from has an API, API is basically like a door where you can get data from their database. And we can like do another video about that, how to use an API, how to build it, or all of that. But like if they have an API, you can just Google like a Zillow API, and if they have one available, I strongly recommend that you use that. even though you might have to pay, but it's way more reliable. So only use scrapers when they don't have an API, and please only use it when they allow it. So go to the terms of use and all of that, and make sure that they allow it. Or if they don't, just be aware that you're doing something they might not like. All right. Do you want to say something else, like overall of the scrapers, George?
No, I mean, I think you hit it on the head. I mean, if there's anything that we take away from that is that scraping could be super simple or crazy complex. Um, you can go as far down the rabbit hole with this kind of stuff as you want. But the fact is, by using these types of tools, definitely cut your time in a fraction, when it comes to looking for organic data, or you know anything else that may be kind of living elsewhere. So yeah, just look for those databases. Look for look for sites that have, like, there's a whole bunch of them. You just got to be creative in how you're doing your search. But like, if you're to find a vendor or a company that offers, you know, like, say, like, for example, like consumer data or just residential data, any type, it can come from the county, it could come from an actual vendor that's providing that. There's databases all over the net, and
Yeah.
so look for those databases. And one really super key golden nugget to what you had mentioned, Armando, was to schedule your list pulling, because a lot of times, when you're working with all this other extra data, um, and especially for county data, like, county data is for the most part scanned and provided, like, on a certain hour or within a certain time frame throughout the day, right? So if you're able to schedule those, like, automatically, without you having to worry about it out of sight, out of mind, that's just one other way for you to just stay, like, supremely ahead of everyone else that's trying to keep track of everything, and you've got your own organized workflow there. um, and one other point that I would also make is to stack that data,
And
right? Hmm?
yeah, and John is asking, like, how do you find an API? Like, have you used APIs, George, so far with for pulling data?
That's so. I mean, personally, I have. Um, that requires a little bit more of the technical, well, not a little bit more, a lot more technical knowledge on how to configure some of that stuff. So although I know how to do it and I've done it in the past, for my personal use, I don't need to. But I know a lot of folks here, and even Armando, that definitely incorporates that into their workflow. Personally, I
Yeah,
don't, though.
got it. And John, answering your question, yeah, a lot of counties have. You will have to pay depending on of the records you're trying to get. Like if you're trying to get pre-foreclosures, or if you're trying to get like evictions or probates or any of that, if they have one available, they will just like you'll choose like what service or what kind of list you'll be pulling, and then you have a access, and you will have like it gets refreshed every single day, so you have data pretty fast, but then you have the data, and then you have to like work with that data, like prepare the CSV and all of that. So it's pros and cons. However, it's way more reliable than a API. You can look for like the API access. Just Google like the county. Like I know that Houston, like Harris County, has one. Like Harris County FTP access, and you will go to a website, and then just send an email, and you'll be ready to go.
Yeah, and just because this is more of an introductory type of video, so for those who don't know what an API is, because I'm sure there's a
Don't
lot
worry.
of folks that don't. Yeah, I mean, basically, it's just like, think of like a convenience store, right? And I'm gonna call the convenience store and say, hey, I'm looking for the inventory for sodas. I'm looking for the inventory for different kinds of chips, right? This store has like, it's it's got everything, right? But there's specific information that I need, And so I'll make a call to that store and they'll provide me with the specific data that I need, and I'll organize it on my end and do whatever I need to do to keep track of that type of stuff. But in a nutshell, on the surface, for folks that don't know, that's a super general, layman's term description of an API.
Yeah, but let's get to business. Like, why is a scraper important? You know, like, what is the advantage of pulling data directly from the source rather than going to a service that gathers all this data and then just gives you like everything clean up and all of this? And I just want to do like a small study case. Are you guys ready? I'm sure you'll love this and you will not go back. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you this. So right here we have Bexar County, and this is San Antonio, Texas, and we have all the like notice of foreclosures. So these are properties that will go to action. If you click here, you have the document. So you have like all the details, the owner's name, legal description, the probably the loan amount and all of that. And yeah, so let's do an exercise, and let's choose a property from here. Just comment any property, and we will go and look it up in PropStream and maybe batch leads and see if they have it. And so I just want to compare, like, if you were to build a scraper and get this data from here, and we're going to show you how in a bit, but we just want to show you why should we build something like this. And I just want to compare, like, if you were to if you had a scraper right now, you'll be getting all this data, and you will have probably an advantage with everybody who's using all the like gathering services. I don't know, like a lot of them. I'm really new to real estate, but probably the big ones are PropStream and batch leads. And yeah, I just want to compare it. Are you guys ready? And yeah, just choose any. I cannot see the chat, George. I don't know if you can. So just let me know what are people commenting.
I'm not looking at the chat either. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Let
I'm going
me.
to stop this, and I'm going to choose a property. Okay, I will just choose one. I'm having kind of trouble here. So let's choose this one. 838 Chestnut Gate Lane. 8038. 8038 Chestnut what? Gate. Let me see if this is the same details. Or chill. Let me check. Let's try, because this is lane. Let me try a different one. 7450 Prude Road.
And I got the chat up now, so if you need anything, I got it up.
Okay. Prude. San Antonio. Awesome. So we have this address in PropStream, and Houston Jonathan and Houston Ambrosia. Let's just double check. It's the same property. We'll go open it, and yeah. So here you have the owner's name, and awesome. And in here, if you go through PropStream, you have MLS details, you have comps, tax, but you don't really have pre-foreclosures details. So if you pull a list for pre-foreclosures, these will not be yet there. Of course, it will be in a couple of days or weeks. I don't know. But yeah, so if you were to call this property, nobody who's using PropStream is calling them, you know? And let's try with batch leads for the same property. Hopefully nobody is using it. Search. It's not this property. Daniel and Luciana. Let's try the second one. Yeah, well, this property is not even here in batch leads, so it's, yeah. So if you pull up foreclosure list in batch leads, it will probably be nobody who's using um, nobody who's using batch leads either is calling this property, you know. And this is the power of pulling data from the county, like from the source, and then um, we'll show you how to do this. And yeah, but the overall process to um, get this data, or you know what, let me show you something else. Let me show you my database. This is something that I did some testing earlier just to get data. And so this is, it's running. Give it a second. Okay. So yeah, it's right here. I already have the recorded date, the next sale date, the address, the document URL that I show you. I already have property type, parcel ID, sale date, pretty much everything. I already even skip trace the data. And yeah, so, and then I send this to a CSV, and we have it ready to be uploaded to the dialer, you know, so, or like outreach team can just text them or call them, and it's ready to go. And nobody who's using PropStream or batch leads is calling this seller in distress. They are getting foreclosed in um, like 2 months. So it's, the clock is ticking, right? So this is the power of using um, a scraper. Yeah, just shoot me any questions if you have in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer them. But yeah, so let's go. Do you have any comments, George, before we jump in, like how to build it? Like, oh, do you have any ideas or why else will this be important to build?
Yeah, I mean, it just just piggybacking off of what you were showing. I mean, it's definitely there's definitely value in speed to lead, right? Everybody's trying to do it. Everybody wants to know how to get it. So when you're the first that's being able to look at some of these properties, I mean, especially with pre-foreclosure, right? Like pre-foreclosure is like one of those beat to death lists, like where everybody's trying to like everybody's on it like a hawk, right? And so if you were the first one there, um, sometimes you like it's unfortunate, but like sometimes you'll even call these folks and they don't even know they're on a pre-foreclosure
Yeah,
notice, right? That's how fast some of this stuff is. And so if you're able to jump ahead of the line and access some of this data, I mean, the world is your oyster, really. So that was definitely a great example. Because yeah, I know PropStream and I know Batch Leads and maybe a few others. They just like they're using some kind of database that periodically checks like through certain batch intervals on certain days and whatnot. But like kind of going back to the point earlier, is if you're scheduling the stuff to scrape like every day at like 12 o'clock, which is typically 12 to like 1 or 2, which is typically like their scan dates or their scan times, and you're able to get it like immediately or right away. Or even sometimes like there's scrapers out there that are even like when there's like an update on the page itself, like rather than actually scheduling it, like when there's an update on the page itself, like the system will basically, be alerted to the update and grab whatever the new stuff is. So you don't even have to wait for the schedule, right? You just get it like as literally as soon as it populates the page. It's crazy stuff.
yeah, yeah. And it's not that batch or PropStream are bad. It's just that they're at scale, you know, so they're getting data from a lot of counties, and it's really hard to, like, it's pretty impossible just to be gathering data every single like day or twice a day for all the counties. And I don't even know if they're going directly to the county or they have a data provider, so that makes it harder. But if you are in a couple of counties, you can just build for yourself and just be the first one. Because if you're the first one calling these foreclosure leads, you can establish yourself um, as an advisor, like, hey, I'm here to help. But by the way, in 2 weeks, your phone is about to blow up. Just be aware. Don't worry. This is really normal. But I'm here to help. And just I'll be happy to give you advice about their offers or whatever. So you have um, you're in a, you get a lot of advantage with other like wholesalers or other people who are going direct to seller. So yeah, but now let's get to the fun stuff. How to build this? How can we build this scraper? And as I mentioned earlier, there are different ways to build it. You have, in that really depends on the use case. So it's really different just to pull data from a website. So that's one thing. But then another thing will be to have a workflow, like pulling data and then looking for the I don't know, using the parcel ID or the address or legal description, go for and look for the property search and then skip trace. So there's a really like complex workflow. So if you want to build that, there will be a different tools than just getting data from a table from county records. But yeah, we're going to talk about 3 ways to building it. One will be a Chrome extension. George is going to talk about that. It's really simple, so you can get started like today. The second one will be a software that we have been using it. It's really good. They have a free version and they have a paid version. The paid version will be like you will only have to pay if you really need to do like um, a lot of volume. So they will give you like a rotating IP addresses, rotating browsers, so they don't catch you. The website doesn't notice that you are pulling data from them. And the third way will be with the third way will be with code. If you want to build something from scratch, of course, it's the hardest, but it gives you the full control of something, so you can beat captchas, you can organize data, you can get images and then pull text from the image and then send it or clean the addresses so you can standardize all the addresses. You can get go to a different website and look for, I don't know, like the zillow price or whatever for every single property, and then you can skip trace and then you can add it to a CRM. With code you have full control. However, it's probably the most challenging because you have to be somewhat technical. Of course, you can hire someone from Fiverr or Upwork or whatever, but just be aware that it's a little bit more challenging. All right. So let's begin. George, do you want to screen share the Chrome extensions that you have?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, give me a sec to pull that up. Okay. You guys aren't seeing my screen yet. Give me a sec. Hold on. So my Mac is asking that I quit and reopen Chrome. So give me 2 seconds and I'll jump back in, okay?
Okay. Anyways, do you guys have any questions? Hey, Craig, nice to see you. So yeah, you have any questions about scrapers? At the end, we would like to jump on any use cases that you might have and just try to build something for you, or at least point you in the right direction. If you decide to use like well, we can just tell you like which tool will we use. Of course, we want to use the easiest, but that it's able to solve what you're trying to build. And yeah, we'll be happy to point you in the right direction. And if we have time, we can even just build it for you. It will really depend on the use case.
Okay, so you guys should be able to see my screen now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm actually just very coincidentally using the same screen as the same source as you were, Armando. We're looking at notice of pre-foreclosures. Um, so to Armando's point, you can make it as very as very as very easy as you want it, all the way up to like the super customized, complex world of back end code, right? So what I do, at, at least for my notice of foreclosures, all I care about is just that I have the address and the recorded and sell dates. These three columns are really the only parts of the page that I care about. So what I do, and literally anyone could start doing this, like literally like right now, is go to Chrome. It's only available in Chrome, but if you go to the Chrome extension store, there's an extension called Simple Scraper. It's where my mouth is. It's where my mouse is pointing to right now. It's called Simple Scraper. So once you install Simple Scraper, it is by far the easiest scraper I've ever seen. And there's been a ton that I've tried. There's a whole bunch of different ones available on the Chrome extension store. Like this is by far the easiest one on the planet. Just letting you know right now. So once you got it installed, right, you're gonna click on the Simple Scraper extension, and you're gonna make the scrape this website selection. And so what it's gonna do is it's gonna throw up a navigation bar up here up top. So the way for you to scrape or grab the specific data that you're looking for is you start by clicking this plus sign to add a property, and you can name it whatever you want. You could just say property address, and then you go over to the field that you want to grab, and the instructions say to press the shift key. See, when I press the shift key, it highlights that entire column, right? So now that I've selected the the, the column, the data from the column that I want, I'm gonna click on the check mark. Now I want to start grabbing the recorded date. So simple as this, add a new field, recorded date, same thing, press the shift, check mark, and then lastly, I want to grab the sale date, basically when the property is up for it's when they're in trouble, right? So I'm going to title it sale date. Same thing, shift, check mark, and that is literally it. That's literally all you have to do. Once you've done selecting all the fields, you go over here to view results, and it shows you the format that your file is going to be spit out in. You download CSV, boom. That's it.
Magic.
That's it.
And then you just upload these to the skip tracing service, and you're ready to go, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And there's a whole bunch of different fun ways. Like if we're looking at this screen still, like there's a whole bunch of different ways that so like I use Excel still, but I also like I mainly use Google Sheets for like for most of the stuff that I do. So even in Google Sheets, there in the top navigation bar of Google Sheets, there's a way that you can
Split
easily
by
split this.
commas. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
So you have the street, the city, state, and zip, and you download that sheet and then just upload it to the skip tracing service, right?
That's it. That's it. That's literally it.
So that's awesome. That's awesome, brother. So yeah, now let's compare that with using with code. Like with code, I will just screen share a sec. With code, we'll have this same thing, and we are able to get the same data as George did with a simple Chrome extension, but with a lot of more work. However, once we have this address, we can we can just go and take a deeper dive, you know. So you can go to Bexar property search, and then we can just search for any given property, like 114 Fair Valley. I'm just going to search Fair Valley search. And then in here, this is all from a scraper, right? Like a bot clicking and inputting the address, clicking the address and everything, and then go to view details and just get any like complemented data that George already has with the Chrome extension, but with more data. Like for example, the property type or the parcel ID, or maybe the legal description, or maybe the mailing address, right? So this is really important for the skip tracing service, or the owner's name, and then how to clean the last name and then first and the name. Um, and then probably we can even click here and see when was the last sale date, so we can know. So these guys bought the property like 3 years ago, so they probably don't have too much equity. So probably this is really good for a creative deal, you know. So yeah, this is all done with code. It's way harder, however, it gives you way more data. It's just a matter of your use case. If you like, how important is this all to you? And the other thing important to know is, for example, Bexar is like, I love Bexar County. They give you the data pretty clean, the address and everything. However, there are other counties which we just want to be like transparent that you may encounter, that they are not as friendly as Bexar County, where they don't give you the property address. Maybe they give you the legal description, or maybe they give you like Harris County. They give you uh, an image, and it's loading. This is an image, so you cannot just copy and paste the address. And if you try to scrape this, you only get the doc ID, sell date, and file date. So this is way harder. So it really depends on the county. But for this specific county, like Harris, I will suggest like going just using code, you know, because it will be impossible using like just pulling data from a website, because like they build this whole thing to prevent people just pulling data, you know. So it really depends on the county. We're lucky that Bexar is really friendly. So but yeah, just be aware that you might come across of this. And if you have any questions, you can just text us or send us a Instagram direct message, and we will be happy to help you. All right. um so yeah, this is this the so George showed the George showed the easy way, like, or the simplest, which I recommend the most, which is just the Chrome extension. There are the code, like building and everything from scratch, and I can show you a piece of code of how it looks like if you want. Just let me know. And the third way, like in the between, it will be a SaaS, a software that we have tried and we recommend. It's called Octoparts. I'm going to put it on the chat, Octoparts, and I'm going to give me one sec. I'm going to open it here in my screen so you can see. So it's this website, and it's really simple. It's like drag and drop. You go, it's really similar to what George did with the Chrome extension. You just click an element and you decide which action to take, like click the button or extract the text from that button or from that field or whatever. And then you can create loops. So you can go like a screen, get the data. I don't know if you have all the, I don't want to say any website, but let's say you have a lot of properties in a website. You can just build a bot to get like, first get all the properties and then go and click every single one of them. And then when it opens, go and get the specific data. and then like in this loop, like click a button and then get the data, and then go back and click the next property, get the data, and then go through all the properties with your desired filters, and then export that data so you can just yeah, it gives you way more power. It's not only getting data, but you can actually interact with the website. You can click buttons, go back, whatever you need. You can input text, like if you want to input a property address here, or if you want to input filter like sell date or status or whatever you need. So yeah, this is pretty simple. I can show you if you want, or we can just build any use case that you might have, and we'll be happy to build it with whatever tool it's the most appropriate. And yeah, you basically can scrape any website. This is free. I recommend you using the free version. This is pretty like sufficient. But if you need, for example, the API, if you want to send them like a inputs using an API, like from code, just sending the address or whatever, and just running this scraper, you will have to pay like 209 a month. But this is if you need like this nitty gritty like thing, probably if you are scaling your data operations. But if it's something like most use cases will go with the free version. So I would recommend you just give it a try with the free version. And yeah, that's it. Something to consider when you're building scrapers is that if a website doesn't like you to scrape or get the data from them, they will try to block you, right? So there are different ways to go around these blocks. So the common blocks that they use is that they will throw captchas, like click if you're a human or whatever, or they will just notice your IP address that is doing like looking for 10,000 properties per day. So that's not human, right? And they will just block your IP address, your like internet address. And yeah, and the workarounds around this is to rotate IP addresses. So add like get to the website from different parts of the US, like, or from different computers, and then also rotate browsers. So you're searching first from Chrome, and then Safari, and then I don't know, like Firefox, and then go back and different versions and all of that. Most scrapers give you, like Octoparse, give you the allow you to change between different browsers in the free version. If you want to change different IPs, they will require you to pay. And yeah, with code, you will have to code that yourself, the different browsers and different IP addresses and all of that. But it's all doable. And of course, some websites have like a harder policies against scraping, and some of them don't really care because you're already paying a service. Like if you're paying a subscription, you're just getting data in a like a easier way. So
Yeah, and all that stuff is very complex. But stuff like Octoparse does allow for a lot of that stuff to be configured in a very user-friendly way for anyone who's not, that technical. One of the issues that I've run into without configuring the IPs is I've accessed a database. Um, well, I won't mention any names, but I've accessed a database, and they basically got after me because they said that I was on their website logging in, but using it was like an IP from like Russia or something. And so, yeah, they were like, no, we're not going to allow any IPs from outside of the country or whatever. So I had to give them a call, and I told them, hey, it's me. And I've got an employee that works remotely. And they're like, oh, okay, we're just making sure. So sometimes, you gotta do a little bit more to keep yourself kind of within the lines with some of this stuff. But definitely huge value add if you can figure it out.
yeah, and African Wonder 8 asks if we can give an example of how to use the Zillow API. The thing with Zillow, it was open, but they so everybody could access and get the estimate and get probably the Zillow Home Value Index and a couple of things from their database. However, they stopped that, and now you have to go through a website called bridgeinteractive.com, which is part of Zillow, but just like their data company. I'm just going to paste it there, the comments. And but this is probably for bigger companies. So I just did some testing. Like I will just send an email, and they don't even reply to you if you are like a startup, or like an individual investor. So for Zillow, I don't have an API. You could go. It's technically possible to build a scraper, but you can just go on your own with that. um, yeah. And Christian says, like, can we show us, like, can we use octoparse to scrape Harris County where it's harder to pull data? Yeah, I mean, I can show you. There is just a little bit of thing. So with Harris County, the one that I showed, you'll be also getting the image. So any scraper will just get the image, but then at the end of the day, you will have to use code to get the data. You will have to use a computer vision like library to get the text, like to translate the image to text. So even though I can show you how to get the image, we'll have to take a deeper dive on how to use like AI to, and it's not that hard, but just to how to extract data from the image, and but probably we should leave that to like a deeper dive video, because that will take us probably like just 1 hour building and fine tuning the model. Because as you can see, it is not only, let me open it again. It is not only, and I chose like Harris County because this is kind of hard um, on purpose. So we are like full disclosure of what you will face with foreclosures, with I mean with scrapers. So it's not only getting the text from the image, which that's like an AI model, but you have to, it's loading. But before you do that, you will have to create some filters to take out this watermark, because it will be getting the text. So for these specific letters, like the M or the N, probably the computer vision model, you will have a hard time trying to get these letters, because it runs filters, right, to get the data, and looks for like lines and all of that, just to construct the words. But if you try to input this into the model, it will just give you it will chop these letters. So for this, you will have to run first a couple of filters to get these like a gray watermark out, and then you will be able to get all the data from here. And then you have to run probably a couple of models to see from all the text, look for the sentence. Sentence is defined by a point. There is a point here and probably a point here, where
And the
the
crazy part is like if there's a different template,
yeah,
like it's a whole
it gets,
nother.
yeah, definitely it gets way harder. Everything is doable. It's just a matter of like, some counties are more complex where you will have to hire a developer probably, and some of them, like if you're lucky, they're really straightforward, like Pixar. And yeah, but for here you will have to get all the data and then run probably uh, here, just run like a piece of code to get a sentence that includes the word lot and then block. And then from all of these, you'll be getting the legal description, and then go to property search, and then look for that legal description, and then get all the data. So Harris County is really challenging. However, it's doable. Um, and yeah, some others, some other like templates have like the legal description and then say like commonly known as 123 Main Street. So you look for an address that says commonly known, and just get the address and then use the Google API. I already have a video on how to do that. Like, just give that sentence to the Google API, and Google will give you the address clean up, right? So yeah, I mean, Scrapers is a whole world. It's a rabbit hole. Be careful because it's really fun. It's really powerful, but just I would recommend starting with the like simple things and then just keep going to deeper and deeper things.
But I think at the same time too, it's
Um,
like it's not the only way to skin a cat, right? So like, and I see that there's another question also about how to get county data. So I mean, yeah, you could like we could spend however long we want to build like the ultimate dream scraper, right? And get the data that we want. That's not the only way to get that data, right? So like, so Josh asked like, how do you get county-based data? So if scraping it is not an option for that particular site, one other option that you have is, at least for Texas, I know it's easy to just go to the county portal and just request for what is it called? It's not freedom of information. It's public information or public data. It's a public data request, right? So you just go to their portal and say, hey, I'm looking for all pre-foreclosures from January 1st to March 31st, or I'm looking for all pre-foreclosure notices from the last 30 days, and they'll be able to just provide that information to you based off of a request. And the format that they provide it to you in is usually in Excel or a CSV format. So you don't have to worry about you don't have to worry so much about racking your brain about how to do like all this like special magic. Um, so although this site with this video is mainly about scraping, just keep in mind obviously it's not the only way to get the kind of stuff that you're looking for. That's it.
yeah, thanks. And John is asking. So let's see. Is there a way to have the scraper turn pages? I'm working in Florida counties and they have a calendar view. Yeah, definitely. Do you want to shoot me the link, John, and we can just screen share and tell you what we will do? And then Damien says, Atom Data is the same company that owns Realty Track.
Yeah, I've contacted Adam Data before, and they look really cool. I wanted to use them for some of my own kind of field input in my CRM. Um, but they're charging 300 bucks a month. And so like honestly, like what they do is really cool, but I had a hard time justifying what they were doing for $300, at least for me, because all I was looking for was Zillow information, right? And if you're gonna give me the bed, the bath, square feet, and whatnot, um, I don't have like thousands of properties a day that I need that information for, so it's not like so overwhelming that I can't just get that information myself. Because 300 is a little steep for that type of value. At least for me. I don't know about anyone else or if anyone else has experience using Atom, but they definitely provide.
Cool. By the way, guys, I was talking with George, and we could just give you some data. Would you like some data from San Antonio that nobody's reaching out yet? From like, we can give you like pre-foreclosure data. We can just do like a giveaway or something, and they give you a list of a couple records, skip trades, everybody skip trades, and that are not yet in PropStream or batch leads. That's something we could do for you. Just let us know, and we can just like set up some giveaway for you. But yeah, in the meanwhile, do you have anything else, George, that you would like to share about scrapers overall? or you want to share something that you're working on, or um, yeah, before we wrap this
Yeah,
up.
I think for me, there's definitely um a huge amount of leverage that you get when you find those like those really cool databases. Um, yeah, so and especially with yeah, I'll just say that it's definitely when even with Octoparse, so like if anybody decides that they're going to start using Octoparse and they've found a site that provides information on homes and you want to get all of that data, there's definitely there's definitely value in finding the right places. And my word of advice for that is especially look for like the consumer the consumer vendors, because those are the ones that are providing like super like interesting data. Because like you can, I mean, at the end of the day you could look at you can look at Batch Leads, you can look at PropStream, and all these different places that provide the general information. Again, these are the same kinds of um, people who all the other investors are hitting up. I mean, let's be honest, right? So that's why I say like think a little creatively, like think outside the box. If you were to find like a consumer data vendor, they're going to be providing information like shopping habits, interests, what type of political parties are associated with, are they voters, or how many people are in their households. Like if you're able to like really find that kind of data and have your own methods for stacking that data, I mean, you can look for some really like super hard hitting campaigns. So that would definitely be my golden nugget to
Yeah,
and word of advice.
yeah. And you can get leads that are not available in other places, like I don't know, like code violations, like well, I don't know how to pull that from PropStream or Batch, so I don't know. Uh, you can easily get that from the county. You can get like an evictions list. So you can call these tired landlords and just offer your help, and you can take care of that eviction, and so yeah, I think it's a matter of like, I'll say speed to lead, because you can automate pretty much the whole process of getting data, and also like the niche list that you prefer. So you can focus on that and be uh, one of the few that is targeting those lists, or at least before everybody else goes in mass and targets them. And Angel is asking if I do your data, George.
Oh, I'm a ninja. I have my own I have my own stuff.
Yeah, but
But
both of us are getting
Armando and
data
I,
for ourselves,
yeah, but Armando and I are definitely syncing up, and we've had a few talks where we're you know talking about each other's systems and divulging
so,
secrets, and there's a lot of really great exchange between Armando and I. But yeah, we pull our own data.
and I think I froze for a bit, or
And
did
then
I?
so I see Angel has another question. I'm in the current stage of actually putting in the process of this data to put it in proper format for script tracing. Any advice? So here's, and Armando, you can answer this question in your own words. And for me, this is what I do. Okay. Even though I have the skill set to be able to properly format a lot of this stuff, like for me, it's not worth my time. Like it's not. Um, it takes way too long. It's taking too much of my energy to figure out. And what if a formula I'm using breaks or it's not working? You know what I mean? Like I can figure it out, but I would rather go to Fiverr and say, hey, bro, anybody out there who I can pay 20, $30 to not only format this data that I'm looking at, but also create a script, because I'm going to be pulling this kind of data over time, within the next few months and for foreseeable future. Create a script for me to where all I got to do is whenever I I upload this data into this spreadsheet, all I got to do is click a button on the top navigation bar of Google Sheets, and it'll automatically format everything for me every time I upload a new data set. That would be my recommendation. Definitely worth the 30, 40, 60, even $60. I paid 60, $70 for that kind of thing. And I'm still using those scripts and those templates in Google Sheets to this day. So that would be my take on it.
Definitely, definitely. And on my side, I agree with building a script. So we build the scripts just to pull data. Like you build it once and then you just upload a file. I'm not using scripts in Excel. More, I mean more like a code. Just build it, and you can hire a developer and pay them like a couple hundred, and they will just build. Script just to clean the data, because I noticed that sometimes the data has missing parts like the zip code or the city. They only give you the street name, or they have like the street suffix or the prefix are in abbreviations, like they have lane instead of lane. So I really like to have my data standardized so we can increase the chances of getting the right records for the skip tracing. Also, if we have an LLC, we will just go and look for the owner of that LLC, and then if it's another LLC, go back and see if we can get a name for that LLC, and then skip trace the name, But for that, I mean, you build it once and it's good to go for the next things, but you do have to invest some time or money in building these like workflows or these scripts, so we can increase our chances of getting the right skip trace records.
Yeah, what I want to show you guys. So I paid I think $60 for this script. So just to show you what it looks like, and just for anybody who doesn't have any experience in this stuff. So for me, what I did with this particular script that I used earlier just this morning, was if you hire a developer to add the button, this is where the button will go, right? So for this particular spreadsheet, here's another golden nugget that has nothing to do with web scraping, but take this with you, keep it in your back pocket, and remember these words forever. If you upload a bunch of records, right, your data is gonna have phone number one, phone number two, phone number three, phone number four, five, and so on, right? So when you upload this data inside of like call tools or whatever kind of phone calling platform, what happens is a lot of times the software sometimes just kind of omits some of the latter phone numbers, like phone number 5, 6, 7, or whatever. So you're actually not touching every single phone number. So my workaround for that was to basically have someone build me a script that takes, in this case, for example, Stuart Lewis. My script will say, hey, for Stuart Lewis, I want you to create a different tab, you see down here, for every single phone number that he's got, phone number one, two, and three, and four, right? So that way, when I click this button, split now, I'll have a tab for phone number one, two, three, four. And so not only am I able to ensure that my calling platform or SMS platform is hitting every single number that I've skipped, but also to take it a step further, you can set up campaigns to measure the effectiveness of these phone numbers one, two, three, and four, and so on. But the idea isn't to get into this sheet too much. I just wanted to show you, if you go to Fiverr, pay for a script, they'll build out something like this for you. Tell them exactly what you want. You want it to where it's only like literally a click of a button, and you never have to worry about it again. That's all I wanted to share.
Nice, nice, love it. Awesome. So yeah, guys, I hope it was you got something from this video. Let us know if you have any questions. Reach out to us or add some comments, and we'll be happy to help you. Do you have any closing thoughts, George?
Nope. Just yeah, like you said, just reach out to us if you guys need any help. Our Instagram handles are right beside our names in the video. So Armando's Armando.sep. Mine is Georgie with the zero in there. Reach out to us. If we're not friends on Facebook, look us up. Send us a message if you guys have got any questions, and we would love to help any way we can.
All right. Thank you guys. Take care and have a great day. Bye.